Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Canyon. Welcome back to another installment of the Crawler Canyon Build Along. This particular series of the Build Along is, of course, the SCX10 Pro Kit. We have already completed bag A, B, and C, and D, maybe C. We've built axles and gearbox. Okay, I think this was bag A. I think this was bag C. And I think bag B was these boys here. So what we are going to do today is we're going to try to let our ambition get away from us. And we are going to try to... powered roller, basically. Motor's already installed. Servo's already installed. Into the metal bin. Grab our 4 FGM. We're gonna go with the little tiny. We're gonna go with the little tiny boy. Right over there, we have bag E, H, which is literally just bumpers and body mounts. And remember I mentioned there's always like some spares. There's a little bag of spares. Wheel hexes are in there as well. Bag G are the primary components of the chassis. These don't have a name. Those are the rails. Another plus point for the 10 Pro in the 10 Pro versus VRD battle is you can get carbon fiber rails on Amazon or AliExpress for like $20. Not just that, in a bunch of colors. I've seen silver carbon fiber weave chassis rails for like $20. Also, so we're missing F. Bag F is links. And what did I do? I did the thing. You know how you build links? Well, I don't know how you build links. I'll show you how I build links. I take a drill. This is they call it AMS. I always refer to it as SOA, servo and axle. They call it axle mounted steering. So I like to get them started. Get just a thread or two on there. I like to get it started. We get right there. We get our shock pliers. Grab it. Give it a good grab it. We take our trusty, never dusty Amazon shock tool. I think it's AMK. It's a little sharp on the inside edges. You can mar up a rod end, so you don't go too hard and hefty on it. We go, yep, get it to right about snug, because every steering link is going to be different because every servo, for whatever reason, is different. So we get them pretty close to straight, probably right about there. We will adjust that as we see fit. We have a mono spec hollow ball, 5.7 by 7.5. I usually press them in on the bench. The other method is you put some tension on it, and then you just kind of put a little angle on it. Otherwise, if you press down on this, it's just going to shoot the ball all the way through. The other method is, we've got a spot here we can do. Go like this. Little thumb force. And I pushed so hard, I pushed it right through. Hold on. There you go. Those are your two methods. So you do that to make that, and then it's literally the same process like 8 more times. So I did that. 10 minutes. 10 minutes tops to put those together. I do it very methodically. I pre-start each one, then just zoop, 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 check them on the tool. Grab the tool, just throw, like you take your lowers and you throw the lowers on and you check. And as long as the needle is right around the zero, you're usually fine. Most people don't check them at all. So what I did notice when pulling the stuff out of the bag some moments ago, because the 10 Pro gearbox is an absolute, utter, indefensible absurdity in that it is this long. Gearbox from front of spur to mount is 7 inches long. As such, the drive shafts are It appears, at the very least appears that the front and rear are identical, and that's your whole drive shaft. It does indeed, which I'm thankful if all 4 of these pieces are the same length. They are. That is very unaxial. Someone pointed out in the comments after the first episode that when building the axles, that they are not all indeed the same length tube, the 3 tubes in the short tube, and he is indeed correct. It is 0.98 millimeters difference. This tube is 0.98 millimeters longer than those 2 tubes. And they do that because that is hashtag just axial things. Because they can, presumably. How hard would it have been to make all 3 the same and then just have the tiny little short one be its own thing? But, you know, second guessing is super duper easy. Building a CVD is pretty much the same operation for everything. You put your barrel in there. You put this over that. You put your pin in. You shake it all about. Pin goes through. You take the little retainer that stops the pin from falling out, and you put it on there. And you do that a bunch of times. We've already done it once. I had forgotten about the absolutely absurd, ridiculous, again, axial, indefensible inclusion of a 20 millimeter long dog bone and cup because it raised the motor 3 millimeters. Every time I look at it, I can't help it. I look at this and I dwell. That little beep. So there had to have been a reason that they couldn't lower that or mount the motor over. Is that at an angle? Is that at a little bit of an angle? Is this drive shaft relative to that tube? Is that at a little bit of an angle? It looks like it is to me. It's over by like a millimeter. There are parts of the 10 Pro that to me feel like they were designed in the dark. Either in the actual physical dark or just in the dark of... There are many times. I have built what I would consider to be a couple of these. Somewhere between a few and many. Both kits, remanufacturing RTRs, building up my own things. And there have been design choices, and I've done these as well. I have put together some stuff. Maybe it rolled away. I don't see. Sometimes they get stuck inside things. I don't see a barrel. I'm missing, maybe stuck in the bag? No. There's the bag. Did we roll away? No. There's every chance that that's here on the bench somewhere, but it more to me looks like I'm missing a barrel. Can't build a CVD without the barrel. What we do have, though, is a fortunate thing. Completing a thought from a moment ago. I have made decisions that I myself would categorize as questionable. I have builds of my own where, say, extracting the pinion gear or making adjustments to the motor, stuff along those lines, would be difficult. Made more difficult by my own choices. But when you're doing custom stuff, I feel like there's an unspoken leeway there. You're allowed to get away with some questionable choices. When you're manufacturing something en masse, should I have put a thread lock on that? Yeah, 100%. Have I had these back out on me before? Yeah. Not enough to disengage this. Like the screw would, even if the screw fell out all the way, ordinarily there's not enough free movement on an installed drive shaft for it to come out enough for it to fall apart. I've never had one fall apart. I've had one come loose, and to do this properly and in a greater consumption of time, what you want to do before you put your CVDs together, and if you were already building them as I was building them, then here we are. I'm here to make you regret your life choices. You want to spray those with contact cleaner, brake cleaner, something like that to get all of the. There's a lot of the anti-rust or whatever machining stuff from the factory. You need to get that off first, then put thread lock on the tips of your little flathead screws and put them together. We don't do it because we live on the edge, and these drive shafts are laughably short. And to me, these drive shafts are more valuable for the sum of their parts. I would prefer to use the ends and not bother with the middles. Like I have drawers full of this stuff to build drive shafts out of. The thing I run out of the most are the ends. So I would prefer to replace these with Amazon cut-to-length drive shafts and then steal those ends and put them on some other vehicle. See what I'm saying? So I'm not too worried. Also, maintenance intervals around here tend to be enforced by the environment. The rocks themselves determine the maintenance intervals because we break stuff. We could never make the claim that, oh, crawlers don't break stuff. They break a lot less stuff. Yes, I will acknowledge that. But they will absolutely break stuff because we do dumb things. If I try to sit and think about how many self-writing tests I've done in my days, the number is too large to even consider. Hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds. And self-writing is a violent motion. And it's not good for any part of the vehicle. We're already putting links on? What? We're putting links on. I lost bag G there for a minute. We're just going to let Susan be the holder. Why do we need Susan to be a holder? Well, I'll tell you. Because we can set something like a pin on here and see how it wants to roll a little bit, but it's only threaded on one side, so it like rolls in a circle. That also rolls in a circle. Things will roll away here because the building in which we stand had a pre-existing foundation, and the foundation is not level. This structure slopes 2 1/2 inches from the back wall, which is right here, to the front wall, which is over here. So we are 25 feet. This is a 25 foot by 25 foot pad. Not a pad. This is a crawl space raised wooden foundation, and it slopes 2 1/2 inches from back to front. I consider the part at the front, and the part at the back. So over that distance, 2 1/2 inches, meaning that, well, you can see it right here, live and in effect. Look right here. See this? And then look over here where this fits. Well, we can do that even better. So this is level. This is dead level. This is dead level. And that was the problem. These were built after the bench. The bench isn't level. So things tend to roll towards the front of the building. It's not enough. I mean, there's nothing that can be done. There's nothing that can be done. This is a structure. These are interesting. I wanted to get, where are those little interesting fellas? We've got to put are they just regulars? No, M4 by 20. There they are. I'm very interested by the lower link retainers. Look at these bad dogs. That's the biggest screw pin I ever seen. So we're going to slap I have to double back check. Front lower 85.6. So they are the slightly longer ones? No. They're this one. Yeah, we've got some, also, this is fun. H. L. F. M. It was like just the alphabet. They went like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I don't know why, but they did. I will definitely try to keep y'all updated as to whether or not I find a barrel. The barrel for that CVD. What did I... Did anybody see where... Did anybody see where I set those two links down? I did what you would expect me to do. And I just threw them in the pile of other parts. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, there's a little bit of ambition. I need to lay that out to see how far that needs to go in. That needs to go until it stops. Yeah. I like these. Threads are not strong. In a lot of load applications, bolts namely, you will see instances like a bolt that has thread that doesn't go, it's not all thread, it doesn't go through all the way down, because the bearing or what have you is supposed to ride on that part that's not threads, because threads are weak relative to just a smooth shaft anyway. These go together nice. I also like that, well, okay, I like it conditionally. We got to get in a little farther before I know how much I actually like it, because how accessible are these going to be when this is installed in the chassis? I have this sneaking axial suspicion that once this is in the chassis rails, you won't be able to get to those anymore. There's a big hole in the chassis rail, so I genuinely hope that I'm wrong. We have got a front lower at 123, eye to eye. And we've got a rear lower at, well, it's longer. That's all that matters. 134. So we got about 10 millimeters. Ordinarily, you're going to see about 15 millimeters, but here we are. Oh, here we go. Here goes axial. Let's get axial. Axle mounted servo option. Put it all on one page. Just do it all at once. Put a bunch of squaggles to put that there and do this here and do that there. Don't make clear indications as to what is the front and what is the rear. You will also notice on this page, we're putting together this plate with the two things on it for axle mounted steering. I mean, for chassis mounted steering. There's CMS right there. And then we're going to put together that plate with all the things on it for axle mounted servo. I don't explicitly know why we need this plate if we're not running the servo up there, but maybe they want you to put a winch there? I don't know. I can't complain about being given in the box both methods, including all the links. So, I mean, it's cast, but it's metal, right? An absolute monster of a chassis side panhard mount. Can't complain about that. There are things we cannot complain about. We can complain about the fact that these rails are aluminum. They are lightweight, but they are aluminum, and Vanquish is giving you carbon for the same money. But at the same time, you can get carbon on Amazon for $20. So we can't, methinks the lady doth protesteth too much. We can't complain about everything. We can, and we will. I can't complain, but sometimes I still do. These are ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. None of it makes any sense. Let's start front to back to front. Front and rear bumper mounts are these the same? Are these the same? Axial, have you slipped up? It's just a unispec bumper mount. Be still my heart. I am taken aback. Also, further complaints for the dates. Oh, no, you didn't. 0115. This is a small complaint. I already said sometimes I still do, so I'm allowed to complain if I want. Put 10 in there. Let me grab both manuals, and we will give you an exhibition in like user friendliness. So this is the way Axial does it. Axial does it like it's a computer talking to another computer. So to put this screw in here, we go all the way over here. It's AXICO115. Then we go up here and we go, okay, that's an M3x10 button head, and this step has 8 of them in it. It's like Lego directions for lunatics. Meanwhile, if we need to put the tie rod onto our VRD, oh look, it's an M3x22. We need one over there. And then we need an M3x15 on that side. And over here, look, it's an M3x12. It shouldn't be that is an explanation that need to be made. It is also weird and wild to me that, oh yeah, okay, I see. Oh yeah, it's definitely a winch mount. Yeah. But in axial fashion, the screw that holds the bumper mount on is an M3x10, and the screw that holds this on is an M3x16. Just because. Because. I have to operate on an assumption of just because. It is just axial things. And what goes in the back? Please tell me it's an M3x16. It is. It was touch and go there for a minute, I'm not going to lie. We are going to put in all necessary that can't be right. That can't be right. That's going to blow out the back side. Yeah, that's too long. I have no interest or nor intention of affixing a winch to this at any time in the near future. Though maybe we may obtain a VRD purely for the purposes of having side by each dollar amount comparo of the two, a battle. That's sort of the goal. That's the goal. It's one of the least intuitive layouts. So the things in the front point out like that. That cannot be right, but it is. It is. I want a picture of it. It is. I'm gonna. You know what? I genuinely. I need a minute. We've got 7 holes, 4 and 3. I guess those go up there, and then the only thing that goes through them are the screws and nuts to hold the upper links on. And then what holds the rest of it together? Like, again, being humanist. So then we move to the next page, and like, these lines go under the... There's so many ways to... Oh, we can't complain though. Look, all the same length. And if we remember from the last step, that's 3x10s. But sometimes we would be better off with no instructions. The instructions unclear. Stapled box to forehead. Axial. So the further we get into it, the more inextricably axialified we've gotten. It's the usual axial things. We're going to give you a monster slider with just like why. I'll never understand. No, I don't understand. I don't understand it. I'm not going to try to. So the outer part, the part that the body will sit up against, so like the frame slider, I guess, is this giant chopping axe. Mounts with 2 3x6 screws out here. Once it's on, yeah, that screw's buried. So if you want to move that or remove that, you have to take this off. If you want to get the battery strap out, you have to take this off. The body mounts are frame external, so they're mounted from the inside. So you definitely have to do that before you put the halves together. This step, which is F and G2, page 22, you have to put 22 screws on in this step. 22 screws in one step. The next step is only 6, because the next step is doing this. And luckily, let me complain further. I can't complain, but sometimes I still do. M3x6, M3x10, M3x16, M3x18, M3x10 flathead. I didn't even see those. Oh, those are for right here. I didn't put several of the screws in because pun intended, screw them. There's just infuriating decisions made at every turn. Oh, you gotta love that. You gotta love that. Okay, hold on. I put the Pandora on. I listened to some music for a while, and I looked at the manual. And manufacturers, Axial leading the charge, are in a group who I would go so far as to say I espouse the kit. I say, when possible, buy a kit. If they give you the option to buy a kit, buy a kit. The clearance, like, how is that not gonna make contact? Why? What? You see the little notch? Just don't reuse that part. Like, set it back farther. Moments like this make it hard. There's our screw for a rear upper. And this goes together like this and you've heard me yell on the course. If you've been here before, you've heard me yell on the course, rock sliders! Because rock sliders are more often than not your friends. You're better off just having nothing, because if there's nothing to get caught up, you don't need anything to slide. Instead, we have what we have here, which is just a giant, and it's not even, it's not even one piece. Why isn't this just one piece? The 10 Pro is making me real angry today. Real angry. Oh, also, if we're busy complaining about things, it's not 2 chassis sides. It's the left-hand side twice. Because if you go like this, there is a definite difference in feel from the one side to the other. Like there's more, like, see the polish, see that mirror we can get there? It's not quite the same on this side. There is also, see that little bevel? That little bevel on the edge, that little soft edge? It's the razor edge on this side. So they were down this way when the machine cut them out. So we've got that little bevel here. So it's the same panel twice. So when you're putting it together, you feel like you're doing it wrong because that, I can do that, right? But I can't do it this way because that's a rounded edge. I mean, I understand. It's all about bottom lines. There was supposed to be 1/16. Oh, no, there isn't. It's just all 10s. Okay. You know what will probably be the easiest way to do this? We will use the bumper mounts to position ourselves, and then we will let the jellyfish hang down and hold all the links in place. All right. And it just wants 10s. This is, well, I guess we can make sure we went all the way across on this side. So we've got 1, 2, oh, no. We got the motor mount. I feel like that pulled the spur further forward, if anything. Yeah, it totally totally rubs. It's gonna self-clearance itself. Look at the cutout for the nut. Like, guys, it's because it's so unnecessary. We don't need that much work to put that forward motor mount like that. I don't see the benefit. What if right now I said, well, we're running a 1200, so I want to change my spur because the pinion is already, as you notice, it's all the way this way. We might be able to go up 2 teeth. So the only other option would be to change the spur. What do we have to do right now to change the spur? We got to take out like a dozen screws. And I'm sure someone will chime right in and be like, no, you did it wrong. You only need to change 13 screws to get to that. I'm getting vibes. I'm getting vibes of a time gone by. By the way, have checked these. These are M3x16s, which are what they keep requesting. This is an M3x16. What I'm doing when I go out of frame is I'm going like this, and I'm going, yes, 16. And every time I thread them in, it feels wrong. It feels like they're going in too far. Like right there. When we get to about the point where a 12 would have worked, I'm at a point of resistance where I'm like, don't screw it any farther. The manual right there, it says it. It says do the thing. So 22 screws in one step. I think on page 24, back G4, there's only 19 screws for this step. Just 19. What I did check in advance, because I'm trying to save my soul, is make sure that the bolt on the overdrive servo is accessible. See, that's why I call it jellyfish mode. It looks like a seahorse, but it's more jellyfish, really. I made sure that screw was accessible. Because it would be, I mean, it would just be full axial mode to have that rail come up enough to where you can't get to it. So that you have to disconnect a bunch of the rest of the vehicle to get to that screw. Before I go any further, I'm going to make sure. We're going to do a look around here. Okay, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. Ha, ha, ha. We have found them. We missed two. It is a... On the one hand, it would almost seem trivial to complain about the number of screws that we have to put in any given step. On the other hand, I own a printer. I know that the cheapest part of operating a printer is the paper. So, like, yes, I do acknowledge that this is CMS and AMS on the same page. Look at madness. Madness. And then on the next page, they're like, yeah, put these 3 screws in. And, oh, I did want to point out, so as I was looking at the, so this is G5 for CMS and AMS, M4x12, screw pin. At no point do we install those. Are they in the wheel hexes? No. There we're mounting the servo, and if we're not doing the servo, then we're mounting the shocks. So then we're mounting the shocks and we're mounting the links, jumping a couple pages ahead. And then here's the pins again. And there's M3x12 pins, that's what's in the wheels, and there's M4x12s, and that is what is in the body mounts and bumper mounts. But according to, oh, and then here they are again. So they're just included in a number of steps, and we never actually install them until we get to here right at the end. It's not... There's not a level of relaxation to it. Okay. So for page 25, G5 AMS, we need one M3x10. We need 2 M3x16s. We need 1 M3x25. Double check. Yes. And then we need 4 of the screw pins, but we're not going to use those right now, so we don't need to do that. So here's the unfortunate part. I believe that once this is installed, I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it. No. It is directly under this plate. So we are going to have to hip, hop, and jump over. We're going to have to do a hurdle maneuver. We're going to grab a battery. Where is this boy's radio? Okay. Let's go up to, like, I don't think Model 3, okay, they're all at 100%. First off, let's reverse the throttle. All right, because we're gonna have to sync and link. So we'll do this in pieces, and I'm not. None of y'all reminded me, but I'm gonna make sure to not plug in the overdrive servo until we've assigned it a channel. So we'll put this. And this is not a full-on operation that I would recommend, and by that operation I mean I'm using a Fusion SE which does not have a super powerful internal BEC, and the BEC only goes to 7.4 volts, and the RS400 is 5 to 8.4. It's going to do its best work at 8.4. In my previous tests and experience with the NSDOC servos, they're not huge, big amp hogs, so I think we'll be fine-ish. But it won't be maximum steering action. Something direct power for this would be a better choice, but low profile direct power, it would be cheaper to buy a Fusion Pro. And it would be cheaper and easier to buy a Fusion Pro and put a Fusion Pro in there and tooth down a couple teeth. I like these guys because it's just a little button. We just get the fast blink. Oh, it's behind my finger. And because I had to get that horn. Look at that. I do like the horn. Chunky. Good luck. Good luck with that one. It might not be clamping, but it's a big boy. So let's see how close we are to centered. They're never where you want them to be. Oh, yeah. Let's satisfy a curiosity. What is this pin to pin? It's a 22. It's a 22. So you could more than certainly get away with just a regular Amazon double clamp servo horn. Well, that's more off than we would like it. But we're gonna have to limit the throw so much. I don't think it's gonna matter. That's a little closer. Hey, ow! That could have been way worse. What do they want on us to mount the servo horn with? 015 M3x10. I would have guessed any day. I would have guessed M3x8. Well, just prove me wrong. That's where the 12 will go. We had a 12 set of. Did we have a 12 set of 10? Let's see. Okay. 10 doesn't fit. I'm gonna use an 8. We'll dig in the bin. I don't know what servo they're intending us to use. All right. So what is it? The 25? It's probably the 25. 0012. You got to do lookups, look downs, just over and over and over again because of the thing I complained about just a moment ago. Just pretend that a human being is going to build the vehicle, and that a human being operates on a. I talk about oft about the intuitive nature of things. When I go into stuff, like particularly if it's something that I am going to have to use routinely, like say a microwave. If I have to consult the manual to find out how to do something on that microwave, they done did it wrong. Because it should be as intuitive as possible. What do they say? 16. We're gonna find out how our toe angle is looking here. Could be good, could be bad, could be in between. Could be close to approximating 0. Slightly toed out. Now, I didn't do a precise check on the knuckle, so that part of that might be on me. It goes. Tell me it goes below, right? Oh, thank goodness. Why does this keep turning on and off? I thought I was leaning on the button. That thing is crazy fast. It's crazy fast. AXIC0116 is an M3x12. Does anybody see a 12? That looks like a 12. But we don't trust our eyes. Don't trust. We are going to have to set some end points on this bad boy. This is not a fun operation right here. At 24 would probably be easier to fiddle with. I like the look of that though. I like that. We're not gonna turn super hard. Oh, it's so fast. It is also reversed. And really close. Good Lord. Let me just set the endpoints on this. All right, it is appreciably close. Focus. 44% one way, 46% the other. That's a quick servo. I do like this mounting. That transverse mount, that is proper clean for that servo. In tight, nice. The steering looks very close to centered. We might have to sub-trim that the tiniest bit. We have, wow. I did not look. QRST. Got QRST on there. Let us detach this. It pops apart quite easily. Okay, going to lay that over to the side. We are going to have to use a pry bar to pop the Yeah Racing adapter off, as is normal, because it's never going to line up right. It never does. Okay, all the pieces fell out. So the way I do endpoints is pretty simple. I dial the endpoint in the adjustment screen way down, way down, to like 10%, 20%, and that's 10 out of 100 adjustments. And then I turn the steering to one full side, and I begin increasing the one side and watching it move until we get right about where we are at the travel stop. And if you're to hear and the servo's going, you've gone too far. I do the exact same operation for setting this up. This was slightly less fun, but it wasn't too bad. Here's the overdrive unit. Yes, the spur gear rubs horribly. Because it's not centric enough. I have it set up to switch C, the one right there. So we go. Little difference in tone. I want to say that when the switch is forward, that's big underdrive. Yeah, and when the switch is backward, it's whatever the minimal is. It's either zero. Is it 640 or is it 040? Anyway, 40 is a lot. 40 is a lot. But we're going to get to see how that works, because we're going to try it up against the VRD, which is 38. So it's close enough. I think motor rotation on the SE is going to have to be reversed. I was looking at it, and my brain, there's no axles or anything attached, but my brain goes, it's backwards. I have no reason to determine that it's backwards, other than that I looked at it and thought, oh, that seems backwards. The mounting orientation for the steering is wild. I had been wondering this whole time what these two... That's where the upper links attach, which is wild. So we're going to go... So for tighter, that's going to... Yeah, we're going to go half a turn out so that we can get them to line up. Because half a turn out will lengthen the upper link, which will push the pinion angle up, if anything. I don't want the pinion angle aiming down more. We want it kind of flat. So these are easy to put on. Can't gripe about that. It has to be, I would remember this. This definitely has to be my first instance of seeing a link attach that way. I am not even going to worry about the routing of the servo wire yet, because that spur gear is enormous, and it is right there. We're probably going to have to pull that back and then zip tie it around like that so that we're not up in the spur gear. It looks like a limit of the suspension. We have a very similar situation to what we had with the VRD, in that there is virtually no triangulation to the front uppers. That just seems to be the way they do things now. How's that angle gonna look? That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. This is just a person fighting with plastic. I checked the fitment, and we should have no issue running the shocks upside down, which, when it comes to axial shocks, the ability to run it upside down is almost everything, unless you just want to replace them. And I don't. We do have a 22 on one side and a 25 on the other, and the reason for that is there's a 22 over here because if you used a 25 and you had a full height servo, the screw would go right into the side of the servo. That is generally regarded as bad. So we are where we are. If you are running a half height, you can run 25s on both sides, because the 22 doesn't really penetrate all the way through the link mount. This is fun. This is watching a person wrestle. There we go. We're in. Get that bolted in. And then we're rocking 20s on the uppers. We're going to go with the default hole positions that are instructed to us, which is 3 holes forward of rearmost. And we'll go 20. And then we'll go there. And then we'll go lock nut. I've also heard in the comments that people say that the included springs are far too soft. We're going to find out. We're definitely going to find out. Yeah, this thing is going to move back and forth on the bench, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. We're already there. Well, the front end's there. What do I have? What do we have that's got a tire in it? A wheel and what have we got that's a combo? I got some fake tusks up there. We just need something to hold it off the ground until I can build the test set. I'm really curious. I want to see what up travel on this front end looks like with that big plate. Definitely no interference issues. That feels darn smooth. It is a shame about it's the spur. I don't run the stock spur on my LCXU gearbox either. I'm all but certain that it's the centricity of the spur. It's just not quite flat. I'm not pretty sure. I'm absolutely sure that they are not. Are those 20s? Yeah, they are not machine there cast. So you're gonna have some little you're gonna have a little bit of wobble there. Flip this over. Rear is pretty much always easier than the front. We'll get this put together, and then we'll get that other thing put together, and then we'll slap some equal length. And again, if there's something I can't complain about, it's equal length drive shafts. There is no front and no rear. Get in there. Get in there. This is an octopus moment. If only I had at least one extra hand. Now, what would I do with that hand, that extra hand, the rest of the time? Well, I don't know. That's neither here nor there. Now, for the lowers, we are using, yes, 25s both sides. They prefer a 25. I could have just dug out of the bin because we're running a low pro. I could have dug into the bin and just gotten another 25 out so that we don't have that one odd boy 22 up there. That's a compromise 22. We're stuck in the wires for the full height servos. And I got to give props again that servo nestles right in there. And they got it mounted at a height that is pretty darn good, because a full height would indeed fit right there. It wouldn't be this clean. You know, that we're never going to get contact to the ground with that servo. It's well up above the links, as it should be. But we've also run a full height on a VRD, and that works. This needs to be just ever so slightly right like that. So this part goes together because I don't have to consult the book beyond consulting the book to find out what length fasteners they want at the four corners, because we are experienced in there's always the one. This one's got the solitary 22. The rest are all 25s. So there's always that one, and I would be the guy that invariably would put the front 25 in the 22 hole and wonder why it's bottoming out. I just did it. It went right in. It went right in. The tip of it will just thread right into the flesh. I just threaded about 2 threads of that 25 right into my finger. So now we got 2 20s and 2 lock nuts. The factory hole is 4th hole in on the rear. So in the comments that I had read, where people are remarking that the spring rate is too soft, just stand them up. Stand them up more. Makes the rate effectively firmer. You go 3 holes back, it will make the spring behave about 20% stiffer. And I wanted to say that these are 1 pound, or are they 1.2 pound? I think they're 1 pound, because VRD stocks are 1.2 pound. So I think these are a little softer than that. I mean, so far, because the body that we're going to be slapping on this is not particularly heavy, this vehicle is near weight, aside from it's unusual to see. Well, see, this is that lack of triangulation. This plagues Vanquish as well. It's because the front links are so straight; they're basically parallel to the chassis. So that lack of triangulation gives this, whereas in the rear, we have just the amount of play that is in the sum total of the parts. But this, you can't get rid of that. That's not get riddable. And it also, it's small, but there is a tiny little bit of axle swing. 4-link axle swing is uncharted territory. I don't know if I've seen... Well, no, I take that back. The Vanquish did it. Vanquish did it because 4-link axle swing is brought about by just ignoring triangulation. These are some little wee baby bumpers. I'm okay with a tiny little bumper. These bumpers should also go together smashingly. Does anyone else hate these little plastic tabs? It's a nightmare to get the bobby pin through it, and then when you pull on them, they don't feel good. I don't like them. Maybe they're in here. I don't see the screws to attach that fairlead M2x4. Whee. That's small. That's proper small. We're not going to concern ourselves about it too much. Let's do this instead. We've got a bunch of screw pins, and now we dump that out so we have even more screw pins. Let's slap that in there. And slap that in there. There should be 4 little body posts rolling around the bench, and there are. We'll go like that, and we'll go like that. And you know what I didn't look at when I put these on, and I should have, and now I'm going to have to, is they should have a big side and a small side to take a screw pin. And if we were smart, we would have paid attention and made sure that all the big holes face out. But I didn't. So now, what I get to do is that. In the spirit of the blind squirrel, I somehow, what I would consider almost inexplicably, managed to get, we're definitely going to have to triple check the endpoints on those, on that underdrive servo. We managed to get all 4 of the body mount posts facing in. So the screws are adjusted from the inside rather than the outside. But if you can do, and I have ball end MIP drivers, so I just put them in from the inside. They're non-adjustable. So they're designed to fit the body that's sitting on the bench right behind me. So I was like, why are we going to bother? I keep turning the spur, and then I look over and the drive shafts are right there. Why are these not turning? I guess is that infinite resistance in the drive line, or is that infinite lack of resistance in the drive line? One or the other. They're not attached. We're going to get to go back and forth on the bench here. That's a plus positive. What we're going to do after that, you won't see it, but oh my God, just the decisions. There's all this real estate up here. They could have made this bracket different and put that screw. It only rubs because it's not perfectly centered. You can watch it get close. Well, okay, let me try to do some tuning. It's a little better, a little less. It's because the spur mount is a triangle. So as it rotates around, it rubs, then it doesn't rub, then it rubs, then it doesn't rub. It is not going to self-clearance itself. I take that back. It may well indeed self-clearance itself. I'd be fine with that. Let's get these installed if we can. Found it. There he is. They didn't short us. I knew he was here. So there's that barrel. He was being a sneaky boy. I was like, this drive shaft is not going on. Yeah, because it's got a barrel in it. This is very close to the length. And I don't mean very close. What I mean is this drive shaft length may indeed be the length of drive shaft that requires you to disconnect a link to be able to get that on. No, you can bang-a-rang it on. It's not optimized, but it will work. I feel like there's no, that's it. I felt like we were gonna have a bunch of screw pins left over, but no, we're actually gonna use the number of screw pins. Just they've been mentioned on different steps like 5 times. Did I get both of these threaded holes aiming the correct direction? We'll find out together. I've officially moved into the drop-in stuff phase. Just dropping stuff. Drop it. Just like algebra class. Nope, that's upside down. Bear with me. The rear drive shaft goes on with a lot less fuss than the front one because we've got some exposed. That front is properly close to the edit. 10 Pro shocks built up real nice. They feel great. The 10 Pro axles went together well. Those feel great. We've got let's do this while we're here. I reverse throttle, yeah? Yeah. Get a little calibration on there. Oh no, it's forward. I definitely improved the spur situation. No, yeah, it's doing fine. That's big underdrive, and that's whatever regular is. If we had some tape that we deemed maybe sticky enough, these are some really heavy. So we've got Injoras. They feel shimmed. We've got some Injoras inside. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's for the bench. We just want to see it move. We've endured a lot. Oh, and there's definitely some weight in these. Yeah, those are heavy. These are proper heavy. Let's get these bolted on here. Give us an idea of what we're working with. See what the steering angle looks like. See what the body clearance looks like. Because we've got the body right behind me. And if I put the body mounts in the correct holes, and I don't have any reason to believe that I didn't, that's not going. That hex does not want to go into the wheel. I despise axial hexes because they seem to operate from a standpoint that you are only going to use plastic wheels. So the hexes are too shallow. They are like not even cast, but like punched out of metal. They're not great. Vanquish hexes are only annoying in that they don't fit every wheel because they have a little step in the center. But if it's an SLW type hub like this, they fit perfectly. So if we were going into the very fine point stuff, it's definitely an advantage to the Vanquish on the wheel hexes. Yeah, these, so echoing those complaints that the springs are too soft, if you were going to run this particular wheel tire insert combo, yeah, probably too soft because you'd get some real pendulum action on there. Nowhere, not even in the same neighborhood of flex as what comes stock on a VRD. Despite these being fitted with shocks that are nearly 100 millimeter, you have quite a lot of down travel, but your up travel is pretty minimized. We've got about 90 millimeters-ish in the front, and we've got about 95 millimeters-ish in the rear. It sits pretty okay, and that is RTR minus this, which would be the last bit of weight that we would be adding. We'll bundle those up in the near future. I think you have to put your battery strap with the buckle facing inward, otherwise it hits the body. I'm all for a low profile situation, but that is god awful. The stance looks like a boat. This looks like it got run over. This looks like someone ran over it. Is it that they have the bumpers too far in? It might be that they have the bumpers too far in. Because that body does not fit for anything. All right, it does not appear to have been the bumpers at all. I moved them out. God, that body is disgusting. I hate it so much. Oh, it's so generic. I mean, maybe it screams comp, but to me it screams just unacceptable. You've really got to get it nestled down. I'm a fan of this. It fits in there to where you have no, that is not, when that's pinned, that's not popping out. And then in the front, the fitment is just god-awful. If you were going to run a winch, you'd have to cut most of the front grille of the body out anyway. It sits down pretty nice. It's pretty level, but I mean, come on. Come aboard with me for a second. I know I'm just delaying the inevitable of moving this thing. But I mean, if this is a cosmetics competition, yeah, I mean, this is low. That is low. But I don't even like the stance. I don't like this body particularly. Of the tucked bodies, it's one of my least favorites, as it really does just look like a Chris Craft boat. But, oh, here we go. So there are some small differences here. This isn't explicitly a VRD. This is a ZRD, the Zoku VRD chassis, that has been mulletized. We've got a gender changer back here, portal rear and straight front, but very similar. And let me get down here. Okay, so they're really close. They're really close. The exit is definitely going to be better on this guy, mullet, you know. But in the front end, the heights we're looking at, really close. Really, really close. Like shock tower heights, lower here, but I'm looking at more about where the shock points are mounted relative to the ground, and very close to one another. 96s on here, they're about hundreds on there. It might be closer to 96, so shock lengths are pretty similar. We do have a bit more tire height here, rupture versus a straight up class 2 Tusk clone, but I mean really, really close. I can't power them up at the same time because they're using the same radio. The motor is the big difference for me. This is a better servo situation. That is down lower. This is cleaner, unquestionably. That props where props are due. This whole gearbox arrangement is just superior to what's going on over there. That gearbox is ridiculous. With the gender changer on this one, which is accomplished with two 17-tooth pinions meshing together to reverse the direction of the drive shaft to allow the mullet to operate properly, this drive shaft is still longer than that drive shaft. Wild. They both suffer from the same lack of front triangulation issues. They are brothers from another mother. Let's see. Ooh, here we go. Yeah, that just looks better. Yeah, it sits higher because it actually doesn't sit higher, because if we go rocker to rocker, it's just let's see. There's still some proportion. Like it's just a slam wagon. All right, yeah, we'll make a move. We'll wrap it up. We'll call it a day. I can't find the holes. Zoop. The performance of that has been impressive to me, to say the least. And it is effectively stock. It's a stock ZRD mullet, if such a thing does indeed exist. Yeah, getting this on, because we've got those two little cutouts. I love the fitment of it when it's on. I switched to an OptiPower, a drone battery strap, to get a shorter strap with a smaller buckle. It is not a rewarding sensation to try to get this body on, but once it's on, it's on. We have no lift, no twist. Little bit of torque squish when you get into it hard. Steering angle looks great. Oh wait, let's try the thing. Okay. Oh yeah, block will help us out on that. He's a very flat bottom boy, I'll give him that. All right, so I don't have cruise control set up. Boo. That looks pretty even to me. You know what? We got all the time in the world. Let's get a little bit of tape. So to start with, we'll try the little bit of red pinstriping tape, which is not going to stick worth a darn to a dirty rubber tire, but we just need to watch how they rotate. Yeah, that's 1-to-1. So, again, different from, say, a VFD twin, which is 6% low and something like 46% high. In this underdrive configuration, we have dead zero. Like dead zero. Or, so there's one, and there's one on the rear, two on the front, and they come about so 3-to-2. Is that 40%? That's 33%, right? 3-to-2 is 33%. 1 point, so what's 3 divided by 2? 1.5? It's 50. How is this 40%? That's what they say, right? Is that what the book says? So we go around. Was I counting wrong? 1 in the front, 1 rear. 2 in the front, and then we come right around almost precisely, so around, it's 40-ish%. So that is a big, good job pinstriping tape. You held it together. That is really big. The big in the Phoenix is usable sparingly. What is more usable in the Phoenix is dig. There's a paint scheme appearing in my head because, let's get him back on the block. If you've ever lived near or been near a golf course when there aren't golfers on it, it's an old rainbird, isn't it? It's a rainbird. It's a rainbird. Thing sounds like a rainbird. So even if he loses his voice later on in his life, when we get things more straightened out and I do not like it, oriented, I don't know. He feels like the rainbird to me. That's how names come about here in this house. Yeah, rainbird. It's like how pilots get their call signs. Sometimes it works out for you. Sometimes your name is Junkbot. We're going to ghost ride this. Maybe like it is right now. Those fake tusks are on brass rings with Injora shimmed inserts. Heavy. It might be suboptimal. I have a set of tires in mind. In the future, I would like to see, and this is post Ghost Ride, the next installment of this. We've built it together. I'm doing that. Okay. All right. Just hold on. It takes a second. We built it together. In the next installment, we'll get to see it go. It went together with no more or less pure infuriation. Come with me and you'll see a world of pure infuriation. That is axial, just axial things, questionable decisions. But here we are. And I have hopes. Here's the thing. I never want anything to be bad. So, like when I built the G-Made Spider, questionable decisions. It's all coming back to me. I definitely got more frustrated during the build process of the G-Made Spider than I did with this. G-Made, there were some moments in the build of that. Nothing expressly non-axial here. Like, it built like an axial, but the shocks are nice and the axles are nice, and the gearbox is an abomination. So 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3. When in the most part axial axles are there and axial shocks are meant to be replaced, I think these will do okay. We will get to the tuning issues like link positions, shock springing, whether or not we're over or under damped. We will get to any and all of that stuff after we do the drive it around stuff. I think it's good looking aside from that horror show of a body. It's so horizon. It's so axial horizon. The front axle and that servo mount are inarguably great. Look how tight that is tucked in there. Look how nice that is. Going to keep the CG down. Well, then we're going to make the plate that if you were running chassis mounted steering, it's going to rainbird. The spur gear is going to touch the plate that the servo mounts to. Both of these are one side. The only thing that is attaching the actual dig servo to the gearbox, not to the chassis, it is mounted nicely on the chassis, but the only thing that attaches it to the gearbox is a single M2x6 screw. I've noticed on the internet that you can already buy an aluminum, actually you can buy full aluminum versions of this. We have an overly chonked forward motor mount that raises the motor, in my guesstimation, about 3 millimeters at the expense of a bunch of extra parts. And I don't care what anybody says. If you want to get this out, you have to take this plate out, which means you have to take the shocks off. Yes, so you have to unbolt those two, swing that down, take those 4 screws out. That pops out. That's fine. I would genuinely be like, I'm not going to put a winch in it. Let's put a brace through right here because nothing's going to hit it. A single tube brace and just eliminate that piece altogether. It won't change your name, Rainbird. You're the Rainbird. I have hopes, if not expectations, then at the very least hopes, that we will have a fun and eventful ghost ride, and then we'll paint this, God help me, probably like Toucan Sam. We will see. We will see. We will see where we end up. This probably, I can't say for sure, but I'm going to say probably. This probably went on because I came out here and I said, we're going to get it done. We're going to get to, wow. It really goes on a ways after you run out of pages. We put it together. We did the thing. All that's left now is to find out if it can do the thing. And we have no anticipation that it won't. So tune in for that one to witness the ghost ride of the Rainbird. He got named before he got painted. The mullet guy over there still doesn't have a name. He hasn't walked into it yet. It has to occur organically. So that's where we are. That's where we will be. Thanks so much, everybody. Tune in for whatever comes next. And in between now and then, please one and all do your very best. Have a good one, everybody. We'll see you again here from the canyon. Hit me in the comments below. Do all the usual things. Yeah. And with that, as that man would say, have a day.